20 shekels sold for the life of their brother, all out of hate and envy. That's wild. Could you imagine? Hello everyone, my name is Tanisha Moss, and this tribe is for women of ambition. So, I am a woman with ambition, and this channel is Ambition of a Woman. I am very happy for you guys to be here today. Not only will this be a hub for resources, but there's also going to be a section to where we read the word. We can converse. Sometimes maybe we can go live. Sometimes we can have guests come on so we can discuss things. I look forward to this journey with you all, and hopefully you guys are looking for something like this. I'll be happy to assist you in any way possible. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this book, okay? Now, when it comes to the Bible, I'm no scholar. I'm not someone who can call out word for word or even tell you, hey, go look at Peter 25.6. I'm not one of those. But what I will say is there are certain stories in the Bible that I remember that stuck with me and that shows me a way out of no way at times, using certain things as example. Now, tonight, I want to go ahead and start a series. Now, obviously, this right here is going to take a few videos for us to cover the entire story of Joseph. Yes, the story of Joseph, my favorite story in the Bible. I want to go ahead and dive in it. I want to see what I get from it now. It's been a very long time since I've read it in the Bible, so I think it's only right that we start there together. It's something that interests me, and hopefully if you've come across this video, then maybe that means it's something that you need to visit as well. All right, so I look forward to going on this journey with you. Let's go. Now, we all know that Jacob had 12 sons and that Joseph was the last born, right? Okay, so now we know how he and one of his wives had Joseph, and at this time, we're going to forward to the time where Joseph is a teenager. This is a time where Joseph is telling his brothers and his father about his dreams. Let's dive in. So Joseph lived in the land where his father had been a stranger, okay, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, when he was 17 years old, was shepherding the flock. I don't like how I ran that on, so let me just redo that. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, when he was 17 years old, was shepherding the flock with his brothers. All right, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The boy was with his sons of Bilhah and Zappah, his father's secondary wives, and Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his sons because he was the son of his old age. So Joseph was a gift from the Lord to his father. He had him at a very, very old age, okay? He made him a distinctive multicolored tunic, which is a coat. His brothers saw that their father loved Joseph more than all of his brothers, so they hated him and could not find it within themselves to speak to him on friendly terms. So it was nothing in them that they could find to muster up, not even the nicest thing that they could think of to say to their brother. So that means they were always had malice, always, mean towards him, or never saying something, probably was picking on him. Just put yourself in the mindset of what your siblings could do to be mean, All right. Now Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Please listen to the details of this dream, which I have dreamed. We brothers were binding sheaves of grain stalks in the field, and lo, my sheaf suddenly got up and stood up right and remained standing. And behold, your sheaves stood all around my sheaf and bowed down in respect." His brother said to him, "Are you actually going to reign over us? Are you really going to rule and govern us as your subjects?" So they hated him even more for telling them about his dreams, and for his arrogant words. But Joseph dreams still another dream and told it to his brothers as well. He said, "See here, I have again dreamed a dream, and lo, this time I saw 7 stars and the sun and the moon bowed down in respect to me." He told it to his father as well and to his brothers. But his father rebuked him and said to him in disbelief, "What is the meaning of this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come to bow down to the ground in respect before you?" Joseph's brothers were envious and jealous of him, but his father kept the words of Joseph in mind, wondering about their meaning. Then his brothers went to pasture their father's flock near Shechem. "Israel," Jacob said to Joseph, "are not your brothers pasturing the flock at Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them." And he said, "Here I am ready to obey you." Then Jacob said to him, "Please go and see whether everything is all right with your brothers and all right with the flock. Then Joseph word back to me. Then bring word back to me, Joseph." He sent him from the Hebron Valley and went to Shechem. Now a certain man found Joseph and saw that he was wandering around and had lost his way in the field. So the man asked him, "What are you looking for?" He said, "I'm looking for my brothers. Please tell me where they are pasturing our flocks." Then the man said, "They were here, but they moved on to this place. I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. The plot against Joseph. Plot against Joseph. And they saw him from a distance. Even before he came close to them, they plotted to kill him. They said to one another, "Look, here comes this dreamer. Now then, come and let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits, cisterns, underground water storage. Then we will say to our father, 'A wild animal killed and devoured him,' and we shall see what will come of his dreams." Now Reuben, the eldest, heard this and rescued him from their hands and said, "Let us not take his life." Reuben said to them, "Do not share his blood, but instead throw him alive into the pit that is here in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him to kill him." He said to this so that he could rescue him from them and return him safely to his father. Now, when Joseph reached his brothers, they stripped him of his tunic, the distinctive multicolored tunic which he was wearing. When they took him and threw him into the pit, now the pit was empty. There was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat their meal. When they looked up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, east of the Jordan, with their camels bearing Adonam, resin for perfume and balm and myrrh, going on their way to carry the cargo down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, What do we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let us instead sell him to these Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him, because he is our brother and our flesh." So his brothers listened to him and agreed. Then, as the Midianite trader were passing by, the brothers pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and they sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. And so they took Joseph as a captive into Egypt. 20 shekels sold for the life of their brother, all out of hate and envy. That's wild. Can you imagine? Now Reuben, unaware of what happened, returned to the pit, and to his great alarm found that Joseph was not in the pit. So he tore his clothes in deep sorrow. He rejoined his brothers and said, "The boy is not there. As for me, where shall I go to hide from my father?" They took Joseph's tunic, slaughtered a male goat, and dipped the tunic in the blood. And they brought the multicolored tunic to their father, saying, "We have found this. Please examine it and decide whether or not it is your son's tunic." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's tunic. A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt torn in pieces." So Jacob tore his clothes in grief, put on sackcloth, and mourned many days for his son. Then all his sons and daughters attempted to console him, but he refused to be comforted and said, "I will go down to Sheol, the place of the dead, in mourning for my son." And his father wept for him. Meanwhile in Egypt, the Midianites sold Joseph as a slave to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and the captain of the royal guard. Wow. Now, that was chapter 37 of Genesis. Covering this first chapter of this particular story, we have come to the conclusion that jealousy and envy can cause people to do things that they don't truly think about. You know what I'm saying? So they'll do things rationally, not thinking of how it's going to affect everyone else. There is no way they were able to do that to their brother and really thought it through when it comes to their father. So it seems that when their father is mourning him, they really see, like, you know, we hate him. Our hatred has hurt our father tremendously, to where their father didn't want to be comforted by them. Jealousy and envy is a seed. That's the seed of evil. That is the root of evil. Because with that, you can harm someone. You can kill someone. That's murder. Your brother. That's crazy. That is crazy. So as a quick summary from this first chapter that we're getting into, what I'm really getting from it is, you know, this was written, okay? Now, this was written as an example for us. This is a blueprint, okay? What I'm getting from it is God tends to give us dreams, ambitions, you know, desires. These are things that will satisfy us while we're here having this human experience. Now, Joseph, excited about his dreams, wanted to share that with his brothers. But it just seems as if his brothers didn't have that same type of, you know, connection with God, to where they had those type of dreams or those ambitions or whatever it is that Joseph had. They didn't have that, okay? And instead of them wondering or asking questions or being, you know, having inquiries of what it is that their brother is saying or trying to disclose to them, they just tend to hate him. Like, it just caused them to envy and be jealous of him. They were envious and jealous of the love that their father had for them, for Joseph. He may have not ever disclosed that type of love for them, but it stated that he knew that Joseph was indeed a blessing from God. You know, he had him at a very old age. It was obviously something that was not expected. So he cherished it, you know. He gave great gratitude with the birth of his son. And he made him this wonderful coat of color, of different colors, which may have been something to disclose the multitude of gifts that God gave him. Now, I can't wait to really dive into this story, but we're going to go ahead and seal this in for this particular video. I want to know what you guys think. Now, I know we may already have an idea or already know about the story of Joseph, but in this day and age, today, what do you get from it? Right now, I feel when we have ambitions, when we have dreams, when we have goals that we want to meet, we're excited about it. And a lot of times we want that reassurance that, hey, yeah, you can do that. But sometimes when we share these things and goals with people, they are not always on that same page. They're not always receptive of it, and they're not always ready to assist you on their journey. A lot of times it's not about who it is doing it. It's just the fact that it's you doing it and not them. So just go ahead and do what it is that you're doing and put God first. Proverbs 16:3. I'll see y'all later.